Next up, 1 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Cowboys 10-3, 3-2 on the road at Jacksonville Jaguars, 5-8, 3-3 at home. We're at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, Florida. It's cold in Florida even. 53 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour is the wind. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have the Cowboys opening up as 6-point favorites. That was at minus 102. It's moved to plus 107, which means that 5.5s are on the board. From a total perspective, it opened up at 46.5. It's gone up a point to 47.5. Take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have slight line value with Jacksonville, 5,829 tickets in, and the Sharps have made this one very clear. They're on the Jacksonville Jaguars, 35% of the tickets and 87% of the cash. So we've got big bets placed on the Jaguars. Obviously a recency bias could be in effect, but we'll talk more about what went wrong with Dallas and why that's very possible to continue here. And it's all about Anthony Brown being out. We've just seen that secondary just look so much worse without him. Now we've got a game and a half of sample size. We have the half game against the Packers, where the Packers just took over in the second half and in overtime, and now we have this game against the Texans. So that's where we stand right now. Let's move over to the table setting for this one. Cowboys coming off an underwhelming 27-23 victory at home over the lowly Texans, the 17-point favorites. Dak, 24-39, 284 yards, touchdown, 2 picks, also ran 6 times for 23 yards. Dalton Schultz caught 6 for 87. Noah Brown caught 4 for 85. Zeke ran 15 times for 62 and a touchdown. Caught 3 passes for 19 yards. Tony Pollard ran 10 times for 42 yards and a touchdown. Caught 4 more for 20 and a touchdown. 12 touchdowns this season for Tony Pollard. That's one more than the combined total of his first 3 seasons. And he had a rushing and receiving touchdown in the same game for the first time. Cowboys defense did not look good. They struggled without Anthony Brown. Texans put up 327 yards, and they were 7 of 15 on third down. The Cowboys defense got 0 sacks and 1 quarterback hit. That's it. And that's all. And they have injuries. Jaron Kearse played despite going to the locker room with that knee injury in the pregame warm-up. So he did play. And Terrence Steele with a left knee injury, right tackle, defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins with the right shoulder, and rookie tight end Jake Ferguson all left the game with injuries. And we'll know more about that when the injury report comes out tomorrow. Jaguars come in off a big 36-22 victory at Tennessee. Trevor Lawrence was excellent. 30 of 42, 368 yards. That's a career high and 3 touchdowns. No picks. Evan Ingram was a monster. 11 catches for 162 yards and 2 touchdowns. Zay Jones got 8 for 77. But the ground game struggled, gaining 60 yards on just 25 carries, but they put up 428 yards. They were 6 of 13 on first down, and their defense was strong. They got pressure on Tannehill. They sacked him 4 times and hit him 9 times. Do you agree with the big bets coming in on the Jacksonville Jaguars, Andy? Take it away, Cowboys, Jags.
Yeah, I could see some of these issues continuing for the Cowboys. This is another pass one too, but the Cowboys are getting really thin on defense. I don't know if somebody in the next 30 seconds can talk me into an over. I think that might be the move here. I do think the Cowboys are going to be a little better offensively here, even on the road. But this is a really nice Jag spot for that offense to continue to play well. This is a beat up team, kind of on multiple levels of the defense. So I get that I get the reasoning for this over. I seen someone in the chat had a 46. Papa Calls again, who's quickly becoming a grab a good number guy early on in the season. So, or early on in the week. This one is it's a Nuke Worker says it's a smelly game. Kind of is a smelly game, but I think Jacksonville, it's similar to, even if they don't cover, even if they don't sniff a win in this one, they're definitely going to contribute to this total. It's not going to be a poor offensive showing against this defense, and this over is probably in play for me.
Jacksonville is at +6 at -120 at Pinnacle. It's at 4 at Heritage. 4.5 at Bet365. There's a lot of 5s out there. So this number is all over the place. I agree with both sides. I agree with the Jags. I agree with the over as well. Gerald Jones says agreeing with the over. It's on the short list. Do you want... Oh, Catchman 19 saying I think Tyron Smith is coming back this week. And Brady's saying he may come off the IR, but he won't be playing.
Yeah, I think he's eligible, and they're going to activate him, start his clock, but I don't think he plays.
Do you want to make the over official here?
Yeah, give me a 47.5. I'll take a play on this one. I think it's going on. I'm not really waiting for something on this one.
All right, let's lock this in for you. I agree with this. Look, I think this all makes sense. Over 47.5 is right across the board, but you can get it at 5 dimes with very low VIG. So we'll give you that. Over 47.5 at minus 105. And Andy is in. I like both. Do you think that there's a bias in play if you like the Jaguars right now because of what we saw last week?
I mean, in a market this size, usually the bias isn't gonna, take the number and put it in a spot where it's unreasonable. Like, it's one of those things where I think we get trapped in that where I hate betting on a team that just won, or I hate betting against a team that just lost. But teams lose 3, 4, 8 games in a row all the time. Teams cover 4, 5, 6 games in a row all the time. Not as much later in the season, especially against the spread as things tighten up. But don't let that shade you too much. Look at the number, look at your numbers, look at the matchup, and kind of go with what you think rather than trying to think too heavily on that.
Birdie says this is a Jag spot. We'll be betting them no rush, hoping the line ticks back up. Do you think there's a chance that they'll tick back up? I think that I might need to get in it immediately because it's going to go down to 4.
There's 5s, and like you said, I think if you shop around, you can find a number because none of these numbers matter. It's not like 5 is key or 5.5. That's why some of these books aren't exactly moving on air with this, and they're just keeping their numbers where they're at. So this is a shop around, and you probably find a 5.
Over 47.5. Over 47.5 for Andy, and the over and the Jags I'm very interested in as well. Birdie says Dallas is a huge game next week. Banged up O-line this week. Bad spot here for the Cowboys next week is huge for them. All right, let's move on.